I'm going to make this comment, and it's half in jest and half not in jest. And I've been doing this kind of work in this community for 30 years. What Waterloo Region lacks is a really good slum. We've done a really good job of dispersing our poverty. People, we don't want a slum, obviously. But if you drove through the big urban center that had all the low-cost market-based housing was run down and all that sort of stuff, and it was in a 20-square block chunk, people would say, that's a lot of poor people there. But instead, we've been very good at not concentrating our poverty in any one center and making sure that people have access to all kinds of neighborhoods. So it's quite easy to drive through Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, and into the townships and never really see any poverty. You might see a rundown house. If you're driving through one of the core urban areas, you might see somebody panhandling. But there's no concept that there are tens of thousands of people who are living in low-income, quite tenuous lives. And that makes it harder for the cell because you don't see it on a daily basis. It's better in many ways for the people who are surviving on low income because they're not in a really down area. Their housing is probably a bit better than that, and they're not surrounded by 5,000 other people on low income. So they can see that there is a path out. But it keeps the visibility of our low-income problem sort of below the surface.
And so I think then that creates the challenge for all of us to identify it and begin the steps towards eradicating it. Yeah. Jane, where are we? Where are we headed in terms of? I mean, we've talked about a number of things where this elastic's being pulled tighter and tighter. We worry that there may be that point where it does snap. I mean, what do we have to do to keep us on track? When you look at this vital signs report and the gap between the rich and the poor, and I think Ernie made a great point off the top about seniors, where do we have to focus our energies based on what we've learned from this year's report?
Well, certainly, first of all, I think we have to be knowledgeable once again about and watch very carefully the information and that trends in the next number of years to see if, in fact, some of the information that we've started to identify continues, such as the issues with seniors. In addition, I'd like to raise the issue of child poverty. Child poverty in this community, while it's slightly lower than the provincial poverty levels and the national level, might be referred to that any child poverty is not good. And certainly I know that it's very important that we work together as a community to completely erase that child poverty. So when you ask what can we do, where are we going, I think that Waterloo Region, while it has had numerous accomplishments and successes, has to be fully aware that we are trending towards a large urban community with its many, many challenges. And that includes poverty levels that we need to be very, very aware of and work hard to address.
Just about a minute left. Ernie, John, I'll put it to both of you. And it kind of, like you just said a moment ago, Ernie, about being somewhat in jest, but would you like to work yourselves right out of the roles that you're in?
Oh, in a split second. If I could find a way to find the magic wand and solve that problem, I'd take it in a second.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It seems to always be the case when we have these conversations. I mean, you work so hard at it, but if you didn't have to work hard at it anymore, that means problem solved, which we've talked about early on the program. Great to have you all here. Some tremendous conversation, and I thank you very much, Jane. It's good to see you as always.
You too.
This is going to bring us to the end of another portion of our Vital Signs series. And again, I encourage you, if you have not yet already picked up the report itself, they are still available around town. There's Waterloo Region Vital Signs online, wrvitalsigns.ca. Right, that's what I thought. Check it out online, and it expands a little bit more on what we've been talking about here and gives you an idea of where we're headed. We have to take a break, come back and wrap the show right after this. You're watching Talk Local on Rogers TV.